Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League. 100% playthrough, no simming. And we are now on April the 10th. First of the 3-game series that opened the season have been completed. Now we got new matchups coming up, and I played all the other April 10th games offline, and this is the one for video. It is the California Angels taking on the Oakland A's. It'll be Kurt McCaskill for the Angels against Dave Stewart. First start for each one of those pitchers. As we look at the ballpark effects in Oakland, not very hitter friendly. Singles are 1 to 3 for both lefties and righties. Home runs 1 to 5, both lefties and righties. Pitcher-catcher interface. For hold purposes, McCaskill is a -3. Weiniger is a +1 for a -2. Stewart is a +2, and Tettleton's a +1 for a +3. So Angels will be looking to run against the Oakland A's. All right, like I said, we will have every 3 innings. There will be an update of the scores of the games that are being played on today's date, with updates every 3 innings, and then we'll show all the line score sheets, I should say, at the end of the game. At the end of this game. I'll get it straight. All right, so Dave Stewart making his first start. He was 20-13 with a 3.68 ERA on the 1987 season. And leading things off will be Brian 10 Downing Street. Downing hitting .333, 2 homers and 3 runs driven in. He is 4 for 12 on the season thus far. So Stewart pitching to Downing, and we're underway. 5-7 for Stewart is a ground ball second base X. Second baseman for the A's is Tony Phillips. He's a 4.21. So Phillips may have some issues here. 4.21. See if he can get to this. 4-1, he does not. That's an easy base hit. And now the E21. That is a 9. E21 for a second baseman. There is no 9. He has to be a 4.13.17 to be an error. But it will be a base hit for Brian Downing as he sneaks it past Tony Phillips. So Downing is aboard on a leadoff single, and he will not be held. Doesn't run all that well. And here's Devon White. White hitting .455, no homers and no runs driven in. Stewart, 3-12 to Devon White. It's a fly ball to center, and that's 1 away. I am scoring the game as we play it on the computer, and then I'll print out the box score at the end of the game. Here is Wally absorbing Joyner. Joyner hitting he's 0 for 10. He's off to a very slow start. 0 for 10. He has walked twice and struck out 3 times, but he is seeking his first hit of the season. 3-9, and he won't get it. It's another fly ball to center field for out number 2 as center fielder Dwayne Murphy hauls it in. So now it's up to Doug DeSensei, third baseman. He is hitting .250. He is 3 for 12 on the season. 1 homer and 1 run driven in. Stewart now to DeSensei. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. So Dave Stewart, after the leadoff single, comes back, retires the Angels in order. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the first. It's California nothing. And the Oakland A's will be coming to bat. Kurt McCaskill was 4-6 with a 5.67 ERA for the Angels. You'll be facing Mike Davis to lead things off. Mike Davis hitting .308, 1 homer and 1 run driven in. It's a 3-9 for Davis. He's going to ground it to Wally Joyner at first, and there's 1 away. So if you're wondering why it's taking me a couple seconds between at-bats, it's because I'm entering the results in the computer. And again, this is the project that I want to take my time with. I don't want to rush. No sense rushing. There's no time limit on this. There's nothing to gained by getting through the game faster. I want to savor it and enjoy the ball game. 1987. Here's Tony Phillips, second baseman. He's hitting 100, 1 for 10. No homers, no runs driven in, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts. 10 of his at-bats have ended in 7 strikeouts. McCaskill, 5-5, switch hitter. That is a split chance on a triangle. 1 to 4 is a single, but that's a 20. It will be a line out to second base. And that is out number 2. So if we were playing advanced, it would have been a ground ball to second. But since we're doing super advanced, the triangle splits it. It's still a line out to second base. So either way you slice it, he's out at second base. 2 away for Carney Lansford, third baseman. Lansford hitting .333, 4 for 12. No homers and 1 run driven in. 5-7 for McCaskill. Ground ball shortstop X. That's going to be the shortstop Dick Schofield. He's a 2E12. So Schofield a 2E12. 2-19. He'll get to that. E12. See what numbers he has to avoid. He needs to avoid 3, 15, and 18. And he does. So nice play by Schofield on a tough hop. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. At the end of 1, it is no score from Oakland, Alameda County Coliseum. And we will start the top of the second. And due up for the Angels will be left fielder Jack Howell, primarily a third baseman, but is playing left field in this game. He's not very good. He's a 4 with a +2 arm and an E4. So not exactly clubbing the ball, but he is doing well offensively. He's hitting .375 and 8 at-bats, 3 for 8 with an RBI. 6-10 for Stewart against the left. He's a catcher X. That's going to be Mickey Tettleton. He's a 3E7 as a catcher. But nobody's on base, but that's a 1, so that could very well be a base hit. 3 and a 1 for a catcher is a W/S. That's going to be a base hit. W/S is a base hit. Squib single. We're going to check for an error. He's an E7. He's got to avoid 3, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 16. He didn't avoid it. So that's not only going to be a single, but it's also going to be an error on top of it. So Jack Howell, a squib single. And then Tettleton trying to throw him out at first. Throws the ball away, E2. And Jack Howell will end up at second base to start the top of the second inning. So a single plus an error on Tettleton puts Howell at second base with nobody out. And that will send up Butch Weiniger, the catcher. Weiniger, switch hitting catcher, is 0 for 6. Looking for his first hit of the season. Stewart trying to overcome the error. 2-8, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. It's a B, so the runner will have to hold at second base. As Carney Lansford checked him out. Held him there and threw on to first for out number 1. That'll bring up Dick Schofield, shortstop. Schofield hitting 200, 2 for 10 so far in the early season. No homers and a run driven in. Nothing on the havoc. Here is pitch to Schofield. 2-7 for Schofield. That's a 1-8 single, but that's an 11, so he's going to line it to short. And snagged by Alfredo Griffin for out number 2. So 2 down, and that takes us to the speedy Gary Pettis, center fielder. Pettis hitting 400. He's 4 for 10. No homers and 2 runs driven in. So he is definitely off to a fast start. Stewart, the pitch to Pettis. 6-6 switch hitter batting left. That's a 1-10 double. That's a 7. So Pettis continues his hot hitting ways with a 2-out clutch RBI double to score Jack Howell. And the Angels are on the board. 1-0 Angels lead. Pettis will be held at second base for number 9 hitter Mark McLemore. He's hitting 200, 2 for 10. No homers and 2 runs driven in. Stewart to McLemore. That's a 6'10" switch hitter. Catcher X. So we're back to Tettleton again. He's a 3. 3 and an 18 this time for a catcher. 3 and an 18 is a G3. So it will be a ground out, assuming there's no error. Again, he has to avoid 3, 15, 16, and 18. That's a 13. And he does avoid it. So it's a nice play. Going to go 2 to 3 on the put out, but the run scores. Not sure if we consider it earned or not, because Howell very well could have scored on the Pettis double. That's kind of up for interpretation as to whether you want to call that an earned run or not. I'm not an official scorer, so I'm not going to play that. But you could actually think about that. So it's possible it could be earned. We'll see. We'll see what the computer tells us at the end. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 left. So we go to the bottom of the second. A's find themselves behind 1-0. And leading off will be Mr. Juiced himself, Jose Canseco. Canseco hitting .308, 2 homers and 4 runs driven in. .410, and that is an in-home run chance, 1-12, and that's a 3. It is gone. Jose Canseco, home run number 3, and RBI number 5, as Jose Canseco has tied this game with 1 swing of the bat. Look at it again, .410, right-handed. That's an in-home run chance on a 1-12, and that's a 3. So Jose Canseco taking care of business, tying this ball game up. And here's Reggie Jackson. Jackson 0 for 9 on the season. Does have an RBI, but it struck out 4 times in 9 at-bats. McCaskill 6-9. And Jackson's going to get his first hit of the season. 1-4 is a double. That's a 16. It will be a single for Reggie Jackson, his first hit of the 87 season for Reggie Jackson. Here comes Dwayne Murphy, center fielder. Jackson, of course, will not be held. Murphy hitting .167, 1 for 6. Has walked 3 times, struck out only once. Nothing on the havoc. Here is the pitch to Murphy. It's a 5-11 against the left-hander. That's ground ball first base X. They were not holding Johnson on, so Joyner keeps his full number 1. 1 and a E11. So 1 and a 7. We'll see if that's going to be a force play or what that might be for the first baseman. A 1 and a 7 is a G1, so possible double play. He's an E11. He's got to avoid 3, 6, 8, 15, and 18. And that's a 9. He just did avoid it, so that's going to be a 3-6-3 double play. Nicely turned by Wally Joyner. Wally World. Pitcher's best friend. 2 out, spaces cleared for Mark McGwire. McGwire. 1 for 4 with a home run. 4-9, and that's a single to center field for Mark McGwire. 2 out single. How big important now was that double play? McGuire's not going to be held. Here's Mickey Tettleton. Tettleton hitting .143. He's 1 for 7, but that 1 hit was a home run, a 2-run shot. Nothing on the havoc. Here is McCaskill. 5-5. Switch hitter batting left. That's a split chance again. 1-4 is a single. That is a 4. It's a single with 1 star. So McGwire will stop at second base. A's trying to take the lead. It's going to be up to Alfredo Griffin, the number 9 hitter for the A's. Griffin hitting .200, 2 for 10, no homers or runs driven in. Got a chance of driving his first now. That's a 2. Possible balk or pass ball. We're looking at the pass ball rating of the catcher, Brian Downing. I'm sorry, Butch Weiniger. His pass ball rating is not listed on the card, so I got to go to the computer. Let me type or put that on here. Weiniger. His pass ball rating's a 2. So this has to be a 2 for it to be a pass ball, a 1 or a 2. It's 14, so it's no pass ball to worry about. So here's the pitch to Griffin. 2-6 to Griffin. It's ground ball to third. DeSensei will throw to first to end the inning, but the A's do tie the score on the home run from Jose Canseco. A run on 4 hits, no errors, and they left 2 on base. At the end of 2 complete, it is tied up at 1 apiece as we head to the third. And both teams have now reached the top of their order for the second at-bats for their respective leadoff hitters. It'll be Brian Downing. He singled his first time up. Downing against Stewart. We get a 6-4, and that's going to be an in-home run chance. He's got normal power, 1-9. That's an 11, though, so he'll have to settle, in air quotes, with the double. So Brian Downing singles in the first, doubles in the third. He will not be held. And Devon White, your batter. White flew to center his first chance. 3-6, and that's going to be a strikeout. Much needed strikeout for Dave Stewart. Second strikeout of the game for Stewart. White is gone, and here's Wally Joyner. Also flew to center his first chance. 2, chance of a balk or a pass ball. Checking the pass ball rating of Tettleton. And Tettleton's pass ball rating is a 2. So it has to be a 1 or a 2 for a pass ball. It is not. It is blocked, so they're going to go ahead and pitch to Joyner. 6-7 against the left-hander. That's a 1-4 single on a split chance. That's a 1, so it's a single 1 star, so Downing cannot score. He will only go to third base, so runners at the corners with 1 out. And now Stewart a little bit of trouble. Joyner will be held, but he won't go anywhere. And DeSensei is your batter. Infield playing back for the double play. DeSensei struck out his first chance. 4-5, and that's a pop out to third. Pop out to third, infield fly rule is called. And that's out number 2. As Lansford puts it away, and now Jack Howell up in a clutch situation. Runners on the corners and 2 outs for Howell. Stewart trying to get out of it. 2-11 for Howell, and he does. Struck him out. So Dave Stewart gets out of the mess. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 left. Go to the bottom of the third. We're still tied at 1. And at the end of this inning, we will have our first out-of-town scoreboard update for the games that are in progress. Caskell back on the mound facing the top of the order, Mike Davis. He grounded to Joyner his first trip. 2-12 for Mike Davis. He's going to ground it to third. Easy play for DeSensei, and there's 1 away. Sends up Tony Phillips. He lined it hard, but right at McLemore at second his first time. 2-5, and that's going to be a ground ball right back to McCaskill. Easy play as he flips to Joyner to take care of Phillips. Here's Carney Lansford. Lansford, his first time up, he grounded out to Schofield at short. 2-2, and that is a foul out to Weiniger behind the plate to end the inning. 3 up and 3 down. We played 3 from Oakland Coliseum, and nothing's been decided. We are tied at a run apiece. And before we start the top of the 4th, we'll hit to the scoreboard, out-of-town scoreboard, and check in with other action going on this April the 10th around the league. And our first stop is in Cleveland. A mistake by the lake. The Baltimore Orioles are in Cleveland, is Mike Flanagan against Scott Bales. They are tied scoreless at the end of 3. Toronto is at Boston. Dave Steve against Bruce Hurst, and Boston leads Toronto 3-2 after 3 innings. The Yankees are in Kansas City. It's Rick Rhoden against Brett Saberhagen. Yankees lead at 1-0 on Dave Winfield's second home run. Minnesota is at Seattle. It is scoreless. It is Mike Smithson against Mike Morgan. Detroit is in Chi-Town to take on the White Sox. It's Frank Tanana against Neil Allen, and they are scoreless after 3. Milwaukee is in Texas. That's Juan Nieves against Jose Guzman. And Milwaukee leads at 2-1. Robin Yount has hit his 3rd home run. And there you have the updated out-of-town scoreboard of the American League after 3 innings. We'll check again after 6 and see how they're doing. And of course, after 3 here, we're tied at 1. So Butch Windiger will lead it off. Grounded out to 3rd his first trip. And again, after 3 innings, the other thing I like to do when I'm recording anyway, check the focus, make sure nothing got screwed up. Improve it if I can. So we'll see what it goes here. And let's see. Thinking everything is fitting pretty well. It should, I think. A little stuffy in here. I might go ahead and turn the air on just to get a little extra air in here. It's fall, but it's still a little warm. Still a little muggy sometimes. All right, here's Butch Windiger against Stewart. 4-7, switch hitter batting left-handed. That's a ground ball shortstop X. And that is Griffin. He's a 2E29. 2E29, 2 and a 7. He'll get to that. 2 and a 7 for a shortstop. He is a G2, but with nobody on base, he gets to it. It's all that matters. E29 at shortstop. He's got a void 3-11, 17, and 18. And he does. That's a 15, so it's good play for Alfredo Griffin as he retires the slow-running Windiger. 1 away for Dick Schofield. Schofield lined it to Griffin his first time up. 4-3, and that's a fly ball left field X. We are looking at the left fielder. Just happens to be Jose Canseco. He's a 3E9. 3E9. 3 and a 14, he'll get to that. E9, he has to avoid 3, 11, 16, and 18. And it's 14, so he does. So Canseco makes the play. 2 down. Canseco not known for his fielding prowess. And that'll bring up Pettis. He doubled. An RBI double his first time up. 1-7. He's going to strike out this time. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Dave Stewart. Go to the bottom of the 4th. 1-1. I decided to record this instead of doing it live, so I'm recording it on a Thursday night, and I'll premiere it at lunchtime on Friday. Hopefully give you guys something to watch at lunch. A lot of people stream at night, so you're getting a lot of overkill. Not overkill, but you're getting a lot of, a lot of choices there, a lot of things to watch, whereas maybe at 12 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, maybe you don't have a whole lot of things that are going on, so maybe doing it that way might fill in a void somehow at lunchtime, give you something to look into. Here is Jose Canseco. He homered his first time up, which gave him his 3rd homer of the year. That's a 1-3 for Canseco. It's a ballpark single check. 1-3 is a single. That's an 18. So he will ground it to short. And there's 1 away. So Canseco is out of there. And here's Reggie Jackson. Got his first hit of the season back in the 2nd inning. 1-7, and he's going to strike out. So Reggie down on strikes. 2 up and 2 down, and that's going to bring up Dwayne Murphy hitting to a double play his first time up that really thwarted a rally. 6-7, left-handed, is a single for Dwayne Murphy. 2-out single. We'll see if he's looking to get the lead. He needs a 4 through 6, but a 9 makes him caught stealing. That's a 10, so he can't get the jump. So he will hold on, and here comes Mark McGuire. He singled his first time up. McCaskill, 2-8 to McGuire, struck him out. And that's going to end the inning. So at the end of 4, we're still tied at 1. Nothing else has been changed since the second inning. And we start the top of the 5th with Mark McLemore, number 9 hitter, due up for the Angels. He grounded to the catcher, Mickey Tettleton, his first time at the plate. 3-6 for McLemore. He's going to strike out. For Dave Stewart, that is now strikeout number 5. Flip the order over now to Brian Downing. He is 2 for 2, a single and a double. He has raised his average now to 429. 1-6, and he might do it again, but that's a 1 for a triple. That's a 2. He just missed a triple. That would have been well on his way to a cycle, which I've never had before. But it's a 1 for a triple, and that's a 2. So he just missed a deep fly to left. Canseco at the track makes the catch. And the triple goes by the wayside for Brian Downing. He had 3 triples on the season, but that wasn't the best way to get one right there. I'm sure he has better opportunities on his card elsewhere. Yeah, he's got a couple shots on again from the left-hand side to get a triple. But here's Devon White. He's 0 for 2. 6-7, switch hitter batting left. 6-7, a 1 to 4 is a single, but that's a 17. He's going to line it to second base. And that's going to end the inning. Another 3 up and 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still tied at 1. Stewart has a 7 for fatigue, but McCaskill has a 5. So this is McCaskill's fatigue inning. Definitely something to keep an eye on. He'll be facing Tettleton, Griffin, and Davis. Tettleton singled his first time up. 6-10, switch hitter batting left-handed. Ballpark single check, 1 to 3. That's a 12. So instead, it will be a fly to center. So Mickey Tettleton flies out to center field. We're out number 1. Here's Alfredo Griffin. Griffin grounded out to DeSensei his first time up. 4-9, switch hitter batting left-handed. 1 to 4 is an in-home run. That's a 10. It will be a double for Alfredo Griffin. A double for Griffin. He's in scoring position. He will be held at second base because he runs well. He runs at a 14, so they're trying to keep him from getting a big lead on a base hit, so they will hold him on. Here's Davis, 0 for 2, a couple of ground outs. That's a 6-5 left-handed. That's a fly ball center field. 2 down for Tony Phillips. Now, do they want to try to send him to third base is the question. Griffin runs at a 14. +1 arm for the center fielder, Gary Pettis. So they're thinking about moving him to third base, or at least attempting that on the fly ball center field B. So we'll check the rule book, double check it, and make sure that that is a copacetic move. On a fly to, I think it's just on a fly to right that you can do that. I don't see a fly to center being available for that. I just want to double check it. I didn't think you could, but I was just double checking. Fly ball right field B is the only opportunity you can do that, not fly ball center field B. So he will hold, and that will bring up Tony Phillips in a clutch situation. Phillips 0 for 2, line out and a ground out to McCaskill. Griffin still sitting there at second base. That's a 6-8, switch hitter batting left, 6-8. That's a single to right field. This could be the move right here. Griffin was being held, though. So instead of a 14, he's now a 13. But there are 2 outs to make him a 15. Right fielder arm, though, Devon White's a -3. It'd be a 1 to 12. But that's still a 60% chance, and those odds are better than the next guy getting a hit. So 1 to 12, they're going to send him. And Phillips will take second on the throw if the inning continues. So it's going to be a 1-12. And he's in there. Alfredo Griffin is safe. RBI single from Tony Phillips, and he will take second on the throw, as the throw was not cut off. And the A's take a 2-1 lead on the RBI single from Tony Phillips. 2-1 ball game. Here comes Carney Lansford. McCaskill trying to minimize the damage. 4-8 against a right-hander, and that's a single to left field. Phillips runs at a 15. He was being held, makes him a 14, but then the +2 makes him a 16. Left fielder arm. Jack Howell is a +2, makes it an 18. 1-18. Boy, I think they're just gonna hold the ball and let him score to keep Lansford at first base. That's gonna be an RBI single. RBI single from Phillips. So, from Lansford rather, not Phillips. And the A's now lead it 3-1. McCaskill has now reached fatigue. The question is, do they let him pitch to Jose Canseco? They do have action in the bullpen. Willie Frazier, a right-hander, is loosening, but he may need a little bit more time to get warmed up, so they're going to see if McCaskill can get through the inning. Lansford at first base is being held, but he won't try to go anywhere. McCaskill to Canseco. 5-8, and that's a strikeout. So McCaskill gets out of the inning without further damage. That's going to be all for McCaskill. They will cap him at 5 innings pitched. A's pick up 2. And at the end of 5, it is 3-1 Oakland. And before we go any further, I'll check the computer to get the official tally for Kurt McCaskill. He's going to go 5 innings, give up 8 hits and 3 runs, all earned. So they did count this as an earned run. Stewart, rather, they did count this as an earned run. The box score Strat computer did count this as an earned run. All right, so no walks, 3 strikeouts. And, of course, he gave up the home run to Canseco. So McCaskill's day is done. We'll have to figure out who they're going to have. They got some lefties coming up here, so they might go to a lefty instead. We may see Chuck Finley. So looks like Frazier has sat down, and Chuck Finley is going to get the call. Chuck Finley will be on in relief in the 6th inning for California. So he's in the bullpen loosening. He will be coming in the bottom of the 6th. Right now we go to the top of the 6th. And for California, it'll be Joyner, DeSensei, and Howell. And we'll have another scoreboard update at the end of this inning. So Joyner will lead it off against Stewart, who's now got a 3-1 lead to work with. Joyner 1 for 2 on the evening. 2-5, and he's going to be 2 for 3. 1-4 is a home run. That's 11, so it will be a leadoff double for Wally Joyner, his 2nd hit of the game. He's in scoring position. He will not be held. And here is Doug DeSensei. He's 0 for 2. Strikeout and a pop-up to the infield. 3-10, and that is a ground ball to short. And with an A there, that means the runner is going to have to hold. So he cannot advance the runner. As Griffin throws him out. Here's Jack Howell. Singled and struck out. Stewart trying to bear down. 2-7, and that's a single to left field. It's a clutch symbol there, but there aren't 2 outs, so the clutch has no effect. That's a single to left field. Do they run on Canseco? Joyner was not being held, makes him a 12, but there are not 2 outs. Canseco is a -2 arm, makes him a 10, be a 50-50 chance. With 1 out, they will hold the runner at third base, especially down 3-1. Not going to take any chances with that. So The runners at the corners with one away. Jack Howell will not be held. And Butch Weiniger, your batter. Infield for the A's, back for the double play. It's a 1, so it's a wild pitch opportunity for Dave Stewart, and his wild pitch rating is an 8. And it is an 8, so it will be a wild pitch. He will wild pitch in a run. Scoring from third is Joyner. Going to second is Howell. Takes the double play out of the equation. So a very important and very costly wild pitch for Dave Stewart. Tettleton unable to block it. And now it's a 3-2 game. And here's a Weiniger. 5-3, switcher bang left, 5-3. Ground ball first base C. So McGuire fields it and will throw to Stewart covering for out number 2. But Howell does take third base. So 2 down, clutch situation for Dick Schofield. Chance to bring home a tying run. It would get McCaskill off the hook for the loss if he does it. Stewart, 2-2, pops it up to Griffin, and that's going to end the inning. So the Angels come away with 1, but that's all they get. That is all they get. It is an earned run, but they were looking for more. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It is 3-2 Oakland. And Chuck Finley will now be coming on officially for the Angels, as he will be in relief of Kirk McCaskill. So Chuck Finley, your pitcher. So let's make that change in the computer and get the stats on Finley for the season. Finley is 0-0. He's had 1 inning pitch, give up 1 hit. No walks, no strikeouts. So he's had limited action, only 1 inning so far during the season. So he's well rested and ready to go, facing DH Reggie Jackson. 2-5 against the lefty is a 1 for a single, but that's a 17, so he's going to line it to McLemore at second. 1 away for Dwayne Murphy. Hit into a double play and singled. 2-4 against a left-hander, struck him out. So Chuck Finley off to a good start for the Angels. And here comes Mark McGuire, singled and struck out. 4-10 against a right-hander is a catcher X. Weiniger is a 4-E-2. 4 and a 2. That could be interesting. 4 and a 2 for a catcher is a W/G. So it will be a ground out unless he makes an error. He is an E2. The only way he can make an error are 3, 17, and 18. And he does not make the error. It's a good play. 2-3 ground out to end the inning. And Chuck Finley takes care of the A's in short order. We played 6 here in Oakland with the score Oakland 3 and California 2. For Dave Stewart, this will be his fatigue inning coming up. But before the top of the 7th comes up, we do have out-of-town scoreboard to get the updates after 6 innings. And we'll see how the rest of the league is doing. After 6 innings, Baltimore and Cleveland are tied at 2 apiece. John Shelby hits his first home run of the season. Toronto has taken a 4-3 lead over Boston. And Cecil Fielder has hit his second home run of the season. New York Yankees still lead Kansas City 1-0. That has not changed. And, of course, Winfield with his second home run. Minnesota now leads Seattle 4-3. Ken Phelps has hit his first home run of the season. Detroit and Chicago are tied at 5 apiece. Ivan Calderon has hit his second home run. And Milwaukee is laying it on Texas 7-2. Yount hit his third home run early on in the game. Now Paul Molitor has added 2 home runs, his first and second, to get Milwaukee to a 7-2 lead after 6 innings against the Texas Rangers. And that is your out-of-town scoreboard for April 10th after 6 innings. So we start at the top of the 7th, fatigue inning for Stewart. He'll be facing Gary Pettis. It's a 5-7, switch hitter batting left is a ground ball second base X. That again is second baseman Tony Phillips. He's a 4 E21. 4 and 18, he'll get to that. E21, on an E21 he has to avoid 4, 13, and 17. He did not. It's the 13 right there in plain sight. E21, a 13 is a one base error, and that's what we have, the 13. So an E4, and that is the second error in the game for Oakland. Dave Stewart not happy about it. You've got a jackrabbit in Gary Pettis at first base, and he's definitely a threat to run. See if he can get the lead. Stewart is a +3 aggregate with his pitcher-catcher hold rating. So if he gets the lead, it would be basically a 1 to 19 to steal it. But he needs a 5 through 6 to get the lead, either 5 or a 6. Does not get the lead, so Pettis, if he tries it without the lead, he's dropped down to a 13. -4 for being held would make him a 9. And then Stewart +2 would be 11, be a 1 to an 11. But I think they're going to hold him there. McLemore is actually an A bunter. They're going to have McLemore bunt. The corners will be in, but McLemore will drop a bunt down. He's been given that sign to drop a bunt. So we'll check the bunt situation. That's a 1. It's going back to Dave Stewart. He's a B bunter, so basically has to avoid 10 through 12. That's an 8. That's good enough. Sacrifice is good. It's going to go 1 to 4. And that will move the runners up into scoring position. Stewart to Phillips covering at second as McGuire was charging. So the tying run now is at second base with 1 out. We go back to the top of the order for Brian Downing. Stewart trying to get through this inning and maintain the lead. 3-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop, and that will hold the runners right where they are. Runner at second base will have to hold. 2 down. There's a plus sign there, but that's only with the infield in, not holding the runner. Holding the runner has to do with the pound in super advanced, not the plus sign. All right, so Devon White in a clutch situation. That's a 1, so Stewart again is a 1 to 8 for his wild pitch rating. He's already uncorked 1 wild pitch, trying to avoid it this time. And he does not. It's another 8 again. Same thing. He's rolled an 8 twice on wild pitch checks. And that's exactly what his wild pitch rating was. So he has uncorked wild pitch number 2, really crossing up Tettleton. So now runner at third and 2 down for Devon White. Pettis would probably score from second on a hit anyway, so that wild pitch probably not very consequential. 6-6, switch hitter batting left, 6-6, 1 to 10's a double. That's a 3, and we've got a tie ball game. RBI double for Devon White. It's an unearned run because of the error on Phillips. So that time the error came back to bite him. We are tied at 3, and now the bullpen for the A's loosening. They have Dennis Eckersley, a right-hander, and Bill Kruger, a lefty. Wally Joyner is your batter. Joyner is 2 for 3 off of Stewart. Stewart is very close to being fatigued, but not fatigued yet. But he's kind of the workhorse, so they're going to stick with him. See if he can get through this third out. They could actually walk Wally Joyner, and that's what they're going to do, actually. They're going to intentionally walk with first base open. They will walk Joyner and take their chances with the sensei, who's 0 for 3. So LaRussa puts up the 4 fingers and says, we're going to pitch to the sensei instead, and we'll see if that strategy pays off. It's a 3-3 game, so McCaskill is off the hook now for the loss. It's actually Chuck Finley and Dave Stewart who are the pitchers of record. So Stewart to the sensei. That's a 5-7. Ground ball second base X. We're back to Tony Phillips, and again, he made an error last time. Let's see what happens here. 4 and a 9. I'm sorry, 4 and a 6. That's probably going to get through for a base hit, but we'll double check it. 4 and a 6. 4 and a 6 is an SI1, so it will load the bases. It will not score the run. It will load the bases on an SI1. Checking for an error once again on an E21. He's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17. And this time he does, but it's a base hit that loads the bases. Bases are loaded for Jack Howell, the lefty. Stewart on the verge of having to come out of this ball game, but LaRussa wants to give him one more chance against Howell, although Howell is 2 for 3 against him. He's putting his trust in Dave Stewart to get out of the mess. 6-12, and that's a ground ball pitcher B, so nice play to end the inning. Angels tie it, but Stewart hangs in there to record the out and not let it get anything more than 1 run. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It is a tie game at 3. And I believe that might be all for Dave Stewart. We'll have to see. Chuck Finley, his 2nd inning work. So he's definitely well rested. He retired all 3 that he faced. Let's see, I forgot to check the focus after the end of 6 innings. So let me do it here at the 7th inning stretch just to make sure we're still okay. Looks like we are, best I can tell. Never know until I actually see it after it uploads. That's the only bad part about recording, is you don't know ahead of time how it looks. All right, Finley to Tettleton. Tettleton switch hitter with now turnaround bat right-handed. That's a 5-10. 5-10's a fly ball center field X. That is Gary Pettis. He's a 1 E10. So we know he's going to get to it. We're just checking the E10. And for a center fielder, an E10, he has to avoid 3, 4, 14, 16, and 18. That is a 17, so he does avoid it. Gary Pettis makes the catch. Very dangerous there. Looked like he was going to have issues, but he did not. He puts it away. 1 away, and that's going to bring up Alfredo Griffin. 3-3 against the left-hander is a hit by pitch, so Alfredo Griffin gets plunked by Finley. Griffin will have to be held. Let's see, Finley -2. Weiniger is a +1, so that's a -1. If he gets the lead, it would be a 15, be a 12, 1-12. And with 1 out, they might risk that. So they're going to see if he can get the lead. It's 2 through 10 to get the lead. It's almost, I wouldn't say automatic, but very close to it. And he does get the lead, so that's a 1-12. It's 1-15, and then the -2 for being held makes it a 13, and the -1 over here makes it a 12. So 1-12 for Alfredo Griffin. And he's in there. Stolen base for Alfredo Griffin. Gets him into scoring position as the go-ahead run. And he will have to be held at second base as he runs well. And here's Mike Davis, top of the order. Davis 0 for 3. That was all against McCaskill. Now he's got to deal with the lefty Chuck Finley. 6-10, and that's a double to center field for Mike Davis. And the Oakland A's have recaptured the lead. It is now 4-3 Oakland on the RBI double from Mike Davis. So just that quickly, the bullpen has given it away for California, and Oakland has grabbed the lead 4-3. Here's Tony Phillips. 4-4, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ballpark single check, 1-3. That's a 7. It's a fly to center for out number 2. So 2 down for Carney Lansford. Lansford 1 for 3. Finley trying to minimize the damage, keep it to 1 run. 6-10, and that's trouble. 1 to 5 is a home run. That's a 20. It'll be a double. So Carney Lansford has doubled, and that's going to be it for Finley. Finley's going to be removed, and they're going to bring in a right-hander to face Jose Canseco. Unless they want to walk Canseco and face Reggie Jackson, which is a possibility. But I think the decision has already been made to take Finley out of there. Finley is gone, and they will turn to... Boy, who do they want to go to here? They go to Willie Frazier. He was the one that was warming up earlier. So Willie Frazier will be coming into the ball game for California. And we'll get the numbers on Frazier. Actually, he will not be coming in. He's tired from previous outings. That's why I have the computer up to remind me of such things. It will not be Frazier. It will actually be Urbano Lugo. So Urbano Lugo will be coming on. He has not pitched this season, so he will get his first appearance of the season. Urbano Lugo, right-hander. Urbano Lugo, the right-hander. All right, so Carney Lansford with that double, going to bring up Jose Canseco. A's lead it 5-3. Lugo trying to make sure they don't add to that lead. Facing Canseco, who's 1 for 3. 2-5, and he's going to ground it to short, and that's going to end the inning. But 2 runs come in for Oakland. They are charged to Finley. And we've completed 7 innings of play here in Oakland. It is Oakland 5 and California 3. And we'll get the final numbers on Finley. As we check the box score. Finley went an inning and 2/3. Gave up 2 hits and 2 runs. They were earned. No walks, 1 strikeout. And Dave Stewart, his day is done. He went 7 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. So with a 5-3 ball game, the Oakland A's will be going to their bullpen. And let's see who they want to go to. Who's got the most rest? Well, Dennis Eckersley only pitched 1 inning, so he's going to come in and pitch. Dennis Eckersley will be coming on in 1987, 6-8. He was a starter and a reliever, both. Not the Eckersley of 88 where he had all those saves, but he still had a fair amount of saves. Eckersley on the season in real world was 6-8, 3.03 ERA and 16 saves. So Dennis Eckersley looking to get a 6-out save with the score 5-3. So Stewart a fine outing, but fatigue got the best of him there. And now Weiniger will lead it off for California against Eckersley. And Weiniger is 0 for 3. Trying to get something started. He's actually 0 for 9 on the season. You wonder maybe if the Angels might want to go to their bench and try to get something going here. See who their backup catcher is. Darryl Miller's the backup catcher. They're going to bring in Rupert Jones to pinch hit for Weiniger. And then Darryl Miller will come in and catch. So even with the DH, you can still do some managing. Not as much, but you still can do some. So coming in to pinch hit is Rupert Jones. Jones is 0 for 1. He's had 1 at bat. Nothing else has happened. So Rupert Jones, the pinch hitter. And then Miller Darryl Miller stay in the game to catch. And Miller is a 4. A -2 arm, but an E13. So Rupert Jones will get the call as a pinch hitter against Eckersley to start the top of the 8th of a 5-3 game. It's a 6'7" left-handed ground ball shortstop X. That's a Griffin. He's a 2E29. 2 and a 14. He'll get to it. E29 he has to avoid. 3, 11, 17, and 18. And he does. It's 12, but he barely avoids it. Got a tough hop, but made the play, and he throws out the pinch hitter Rupert Jones for out number 1. That will now send up Dick Schofield. He's 0 for 3. Do they pinch hit for Schofield? No, they're going to let Schofield hit. 2-8 for Schofield, struck him out. So 2 down, and that brings up Gary Pettis. Pettis is 1 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Eckersley 1-5 to Pettis, struck him out. So Eckersley, a fine 1-2-3 8th inning. He's going to be looking to go through the 9th and get that save. It'll be his first of the season if he can obtain it. And Lugo back out to try to finish the game and keep the score where it is. Reggie Jackson, your batter. And now on the computer, I got to put Darryl Miller in to catch. Can't have Rupert Jones catching. You have to have Darryl Miller there catching. So now he'll be the catcher for Lugo. It'll be Jackson, Murphy, and McGuire due up for the A's in the bottom of the 8th of a 5-3 game. 6-6 left-handed against Lugo. That's a 1-17 double. So Reggie Jackson, his second hit of the game, it's a double to lead off the bottom of the 8th as the A's look for insurance. And here's Dwayne Murphy. .63 left-handed. That's a ballpark single check. 1-3, but that's an 18, so he is going to line it to second base, out number 1. So 1 away. And that will bring up Mark McGuire. Lugo facing McGuire. 2-8, and that's a strikeout. McGuire out on strikes. Now Lugo has to get Tettleton to get out of the inning. Clutch situation for Tettleton. 5-10, switch hitter batting left. 5-10 is a fly to right field, and that's going to end the inning. So Lugo does his job. And we can close the book on Lugo. And we're going to go to the top of the 9th with a 5-3 Oakland lead. Lugo goes an inning and a third. Gives up a hit, nothing else, and gets a strikeout. So Lugo did his job. And now it's up to the Angels to see what they can do against Mr. Eckersley. Second inning of work for Eckersley. He'll be facing McLemore, Downing, and White. Might see a pinch hitter from McLemore, though. He's not a very good hitter, so the Angels will be going to their bullpen. I'm not their bullpen, going to their bench for, let's see, do they go to the lefty? They go to, or do they go to their best hitter? No. They'll go to their cagey veteran, even though he's right-handed. They're going to cagey veteran George Hendrick. George Hendrick going to get the call to pinch hit against Dennis Eckersley. And Gus Polidor would come in to play second base if it goes extra innings. But right now it is George Hendrick getting the call to pinch hit. to start the ninth. Hendrick is 0 for 3 in limited duty with a walk and a strikeout. So see what he can do here against Eckersley. 4-5, and that's a 1-2 triple, but that's a 13, so it's a fly to left field. And Eckersley almost put one where he didn't want to, but he gets through it. And that'll take care of Hendrick. And now we go to the top of the order for Downing. Downing is 2 for 4. Eckersley 6-9. That's a strikeout. So Dennis Eckersley 1 out away from securing save number 1 of the 1987 season. He split time with Jay Howell as a closer. He kind of did some mixture of starting and relieving. Jay Howell was also a closer on this team, but he's tired, so they had to go to Eckersley. And he is not letting him down so far. 6-7, switch hitter 6-7, ground ball shortstop X. It's up to Alfredo Griffin. He's a 2E29. 218, he'll get to it. E29 is the key number. And for an E29, he's got to avoid 3, 11, 17, and 18. And he does. That's going to be the ball game. Alfredo Griffin makes the play, and the ball game is over. Ball game is over. The A's win it by the score of 5-3. And we'll get the totals. For the A's, 5 runs, 11 hits, and 3 errors. For the Angels, 3 runs, 9 hits, and no errors. Winning pitcher is Dave Stewart. He is 1-0. The save to Eckersley, his first. Eckersley went 2 innings, gave up nothing, and struck out 3. About as good as you can do. Losing pitcher was Chuck Finley. He drops to 0-1. Home runs in the game. Only home run was Jose Canseco. That was his 3rd of the season. So now let's look at the out-of-town scoreboard. To wrap up the day on April the 10th, a final from Baltimore. At the end of 6, they were tied at 2, but Cleveland comes back to top Baltimore 6-4. Shelby, of course, hit his first home run. Ray Knight hit his first, and Tony Bernazard for Cleveland hit his first. Winning pitcher Ernie Camacho, he's 1-0. Losing pitcher is Tony Arnold. He's 0-1. And the save went to Rich Yett, his first. Toronto will top Boston 4-3. The only home run of the game was Cecil Fielder's second home run. Dave Steve is the winner. He's 1-0. Bruce Hurst the loser. He's 0-1. And Tom Hinkie was save number 2. The Yankees hold on and top Kansas City 1-0. That 1-0 score held up since the 3rd inning. Dave Winfield's second home run, the only run of the game. Rick Rhoden, the winner, 1-0. Brett Saberhagen, the loser, 0-1. And Dave Righetti with save number 2. Seattle comes back after trailing 4-3 and tops Minnesota 6-4. Phelps, the home run, his first. Wilkinson in relief is the winner, 1-0. Keith Atherton, the loser, 0-1. And Jerry Reed, eastbound and down, gets his first save of the season. The surprising Chicago White Sox topped the Tigers 8-7 by scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to pull it out. Alan Trammell, his first home run. Calderon, his second. Bobby Thigpen gets the win. He's 1-0. And Mark Thurman, the loss. He's 0-1. And the Tigers are definitely missing not having Willie Hernandez, or Guillermo Hernandez, however you want to call him, in their bullpen. He will come along later, but they're definitely missing him and Kirk Gibson in the beginning part of the season. White Sox improved to 4-0, surprisingly, in this one. And Milwaukee throttles Texas 10-4. Home runs in the game, Yount his 3rd, Molitor his 1st and his 2nd, and Steve Buechele for Texas his 3rd. Nieves the winner, 1-0. Guzman the loser, 0-1. So we'll look at the actual score sheets for all of these. You can see a 10-4 victory for Milwaukee over Texas. And then Chicago again scoring 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th as Mark Thurman couldn't hold it. fact, the White Sox got in the bottom of the ninth. They were down to the last out. The first two guys made outs, but then Hewlett singled. Jerry Royster pinch hit for Boston. He singled. Ozzie Guillen doubled. Steve Lyons pinch hit for Karkovice. I'm sorry, Ron Hassey pinch hit for Karkovice, and he doubled. And that brought home the winning run. So 8-7 White Sox win it. And let me move this out of the way so I can get to the standings in the league to see what everybody is doing. Milwaukee is 4-0 and Chicago is 4-0. Chicago leads Seattle by 1 game. Seattle is 3-1. White Sox are 4-0. Oakland with the win improves to 2-2. California loss drops to 1-3. Milwaukee leads the East 4-0. Toronto and New York are both 3-1, 1 game back. Cleveland and Baltimore are both 2-2. Detroit 1-3, and poor Boston is 0-4. And Kansas City is also 0-4. So there's the Kansas City New York game, 1-0. Home run by Winfield in the second was all there was. Nice outing by Saberhagen. It gets wasted. Rick Rhoden pitched really well, but tired, and then Righetti came in and got the save with a 2-inning save. There's Minnesota and Seattle. Minnesota had the lead 4-3, but Seattle came back with 1 in the 7th and 2 in the 8th to win it. Wilkinson again the winner, Reed the save, and Atherton the loser in that one. Baltimore and Cleveland. Baltimore falls to Cleveland 6-4. Cleveland picks up 4 runs in the bottom of the 8th. A big error by John Shelby really hurt them, but the big blow was Tony Bernard's homer. That capped off the scoring, and they went ahead 6-3. Yet gave up a run in the 9th on a home run to Ray Knight, but it was inconsequential. 6-4 your final. Cleveland wins it. Toronto took care of Boston 4-3. Bruce Hurst gave up 4 runs in 6 innings to take the loss. And Steve gets the win with Hinkie the save. Chicago, Kansas City. Oh, that's from our last game on video, so that's old school stuff. So that took care of everything on the scoreboard, out-of-town scoreboard. And again, this game, 5-3, Oakland wins it over California. Stewart the winner, 1-0. Eckersley his first save. Finley the loser, he's 0-1. Player of the game, kind of tough to decide who you might want to give that to. Don't see anybody for Oakland that really stands out necessarily. Lansford did have a couple of RBIs, though, so we might give it to Carney Lansford. He was 2 for 4. An RBI single in the 5th and an RBI double in the 7th that proved to be the winning runs. So, well, actually, an insurance run. Davis's double was the winning run. But still, 2 for 4 is pretty good. Stewart could give it to him. He went 7 innings, gave up 3 runs, which is a quality start. So it's kind of hard to pick a player of the game that kind of nobody really stood out per se for Oakland in that victory. But you know, Wally Joyner did really well for California. He was 2 for 3, reached base 3 times, scored a run in a losing cause, of course. So Oakland wins it 5-3, and that concludes all the games from April the 10th. We will now move on to April 11th, and the video game, the game to be shown on video, will be Toronto at Boston. It'll be the return of Roger Clemens, his first start of the season, and he'll be opposed by left-hander Jimmy Key of Toronto. Toronto is 3-1, Boston is 0-4, so Roger Clemens looking to get the Red Sox their first victory of the season. So that's going to do it from here. Hope you all enjoyed that presentation of Strat-O-Matic 1987. Next video will be Game 2 of the American League Championship Series 1973. The Oakland A's and the Baltimore Orioles. That will be live on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock Eastern. And I believe that's Jim Catfish Hunter against Dave McNally. So until then, hope you enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.